does not favor fast bowlers. You have to bring a lot of skill to get the wickets. Of course, today, no wickets fell for the Sri Lankans. If you can get a match summary, again, England versus Sri Lanka, this was the fourth and the last quarterfinal. England putting on 229 runs for 6 wickets in their 50 overs, thanks to a brilliant knock by Jonathan Trott, 86 runs, and a fortuitous half-century by Morgan, who was dropped 3 times, got to 50. Murali was his magical self, picking up 2 wickets, could have picked up a couple more. Mendes economical 1 for 34. In response, Sri Lanka just needed their top 2 batsmen. Fortunately, 2 centuries, 2 deserving centuries for Dilshan as well as Taranga. Taranga picked it up in the last ball of the innings. Treadwell and Bresnan, impressive, but no wickets. Sri Lanka romp home by 10 wickets. So now a break for a couple of days, and then perhaps the match that not just these 2 countries but the whole world will be looking. The cricketing world will have their eyes fixed on the India-Pakistan match. That match we analyze, but you have to wait for a couple of minutes here on a short break on How's That. We'll be right back. And then there were 4 from the 14 that started out at the World Cup 2011. The 4 semi-finalists have been decided. In today's quarterfinal, Sri Lanka completely thrashing England by 10 wickets and 10 overs to spare. The semi-finals are set. The first one will see the 2 teams that played the later matches. New Zealand versus Sri Lanka, 2:30 p.m. back at the Premadasa Stadium in Colombo, where Sri Lanka had the solid victory. Of course, most bookies will be hoping for Sri Lanka for that match, but Kiwis can pull off that upset. And how about the second matchup? India-Pakistan in Mohali near Chandigarh, 2:30 p.m. Flights to Mohali are completely packed. No hotel reservations available. People will be staying 50 to 100 kilometers away just to make this game. This is going to be the game of the tournament. 2 solid semi-finals coming up, 29th and 30th of this month. The first semi-final, Sri Lanka going in as the favorites. Mr. Raman, your thoughts on what New Zealand might have to do to cause an upset?
I think they have to believe that they have an even chance of not upsetting or beating Sri Lanka. If they have that belief, they can perhaps go out there and try it. They have the batting, they have the depth in batting as well, and they have a good variety of bowlers. And I think if they can just come together and, like they did in the last game, patiently chip away at Sri Lanka and get a couple of early wickets, I think that is the key. Get Dilshan out early, get Sangakkar out early, then you have got your chance. And the real chance is for New Zealand to bat first, pile up a good score, and then use the curse of Premadasa, where teams batting second usually don't win. But for that, you need to have a good bowling attack, and New Zealand has got it. So I would reckon that they have got a slightly better chance than England had of beating Sri Lanka. I think it will be a good game.
Well, in contrasting teams, you know, the opening pair of New Zealand, Guptill and McCullum, have just not been performing at this World Cup. In contrast, we've seen what Taranga as well as Dilshan can do. But perhaps a little more on the strategy for both the captains, Mr. Amarnath, in this game going ahead. New Zealand up and down, some very difficult losses, some impressive victories. Sri Lanka coasting most of the way. They had that one early loss to Pakistan, the very first game that they played. Even against Australia, they looked strong. Jacob Oram and what he did in the last match was a miracle. Does New Zealand need another miracle against this team?
Sri Lanka would be hoping not.
Yes.
Because they have been batting, they have been bowling, they have been fielding so well in this tournament. The loss against Pakistan was also very narrow. It was not one-sided game that they were beaten. And the big game against Australia was washed out, so one couldn't see but overall, I would say definitely Sri Lanka is definitely a better side. It's more balanced team, and the kind of bowling attack they have, the spinners in the ranks. Malinga is definitely going to be playing a very crucial role if he has to pick up early wickets, and the New Zealanders have not been having the best of start at the top, and that is where the Sri Lankans can make an inroad with Mendes coming in and Muralidharan bowling from the other end. But at the same time, it's very important if New Zealand were to bat first and Sri Lanka were to bowl. I think Sri Lanka would be hoping to keep them under 250, and even in the range of 270, that's a score Sri Lanka, I think, can chase against New Zealand.
Well, indeed, if they play the way they did today, and we've seen what number 3 and number 4 can do too, 270 would also be a target that New Zealand would hope to eclipse in the next match. Let's see how that works out. But indeed, you have to admit, the more glamorous match, the match which will surely have the cricket world watching, will be this dream semi-final. India versus Pakistan at Mohali in India. Mr. Raman, before analyzing this match, just the venue and the advantage or the pressure that it will put on India. Your thoughts?
I think it's both, and unfortunately, there is a lot of talk of cricket diplomacy taking over. I think it will put cricketers under pressure. I think we should let them just go out there and enjoy the game. But if wishes were horses, then the beggars would ride. Unfortunately, that is happening. I wish the cricketers were left alone. I wish we could just see a plain cricket match and not just people turning up because they want to be seen there. It's going to be a great game. I think the atmosphere is going to be fabulous. Wonderful track which will be flat. I don't think spinners are going to benefit there unless they've not rolled the track or watered it for some days. Will be interesting to see what kind of a track is rolled out, because Pakistan has got a nice balanced attack, but India's batting strength is superior to Pakistan. So it will be India's batting versus Pakistan bowling, if you can just shrink that match into that one line.
Indeed. India batting very strong, Pakistani bowling led by Shahid Afridi, their captain, very potent. Mr. Amarnath, your closing thoughts on the key players. Of course, we've seen what Yuvraj has done for India. We've seen what Afridi, the way he has led his side. We've seen what Hafiz has done, the roles Sehwag and Tendulkar have played, the key players for this match.
I think you just cannot put onus on one player who's going to be key. I think it's all 11 who have to perform. It has to be in a collective effort. If it's not going to be a collective effort, I think the team which doesn't put that kind of effort is the one which is going to be on the losing side. You don't expect Sachin or Sehwag or Yuvraj Singh to score every time. There may be a time when these guys may not get those runs, but it is the other team members who are supposed to come and contribute to the Indian total. And similarly for Pakistan, you don't expect Shahid Afridi to get wickets every time he comes to bowl. So others will have to also chip in with wickets against India. So it has to be a very, very collective effort from all 11 players from both the sides. And it is, I think it's a mother of all battle. I think this is going to be the final of this World Cup.
Indeed, Mr. Raman.
Mihir, all I would like to remind ourselves and the viewer back home is that this is only a cricket match. Let's keep it down to basics. It is a cricket match at the end of the day. Let's not make it look like it's India versus Pakistan, a mini war being played at the cricket field, war minus the shooting as they call it. I think we should just should sit back and enjoy a great game of cricket, support whichever team wins and not be too harsh on the team that loses.
I think what Raman is saying is absolutely correct, but emotions do fly very high when two nations come and play a match against each other, and each team would like to win, because once you lose and you come back, it's very difficult thing to digest for a long time, and people keep reminding you of the loss. I think Chetan Sharma knows what happened at Sharjah and still regrets that ball. Similarly, I think Indian team also knows winning against Pakistan definitely matters a lot.
Well, indeed, the mother of all battles. Yes, it would be good if the pressure was taken off, but we know that's not going to happen. There will be pressure, there will be media, there will be press. This is what it boils down to. India and Pakistan in great form. They've earned their place in the semi-finals, but that one statistic favors India, the performance against Pakistan in previous World Cups. They will use that as confidence, but on 30th March, we'll know which team comes out on top. As you said, summarize, it'll be batting, bowling, fielding, captaincy, and strategy, and the mental game which will decide this match. But really, 3 subcontinent teams in the semi-finals, Super World Cup, as it's turned out so far. I want to thank my panel, Rajendra Amarnath, as well as Sir Rajaraman for joining us today. Thank you once again.
Our pleasure.
And we hope you will stay on with this World Cup. It's been fiery, it's been exciting. Some one-sided matches, some close ones. India still in it. We hope you continue to watch, and we hope you have a lovely night. Goodbye.